Welcome to our latest news update. Today we have a variety of stories to share with you. First up,
the writers' strike that has shut down late-night shows after WGA talks with studios fail. Moving on.
Brunson, Brosnahan, and Fallon show their support for Hollywood writers at the Met Gala. In other news,
Ed Sheeran may quit music if he's found guilty in a copyright suit. On a more bizarre note,
Nicolas Cage remembers being inside his mother's womb. In the world of music,
Mars Volta has reunited with a purpose after splitting from Scientology. Finally,
John Wick 4 breaks franchise records as it sails past $400 million at the box office. So, let's get started.
Late-night talk shows, including The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, will go dark starting on Tuesday due to a writer's strike.
The Daily Show, Late Night with Seth Meyers, Real Time with Bill Maher, and Last Week Tonight with John Oliver will also be impacted.
Saturday Night Live, SNL, will shut down, and a decision on whether to air repeats or cancel the show entirely is expected later in the week.
The strike is due to a negotiation between the Writers Guild and studios, with one of the issues being the lack of MBA minimums for writers on comedy variety programs made for new media.
Late-night showrunners plan to stay in touch with each other to give a unified approach to the situation, unlike in the 2007-08 strike.
While supporting the writers' demands, some SNL stars are concerned about the impact on the crew and want to find a happy medium.
Well, it looks like the late-night shows are going to have to find a new source of material. But don't worry, Hollywood's finest are stepping up to support the striking writers at the Met Gala.
Hollywood stars including Brunson, Brosnahan, and Fallon showed their support for the Writers Guild of America at the Met Gala.
The support comes as a potential writers' strike looms, set to begin as soon as Tuesday.
Jimmy Fallon, in particular, expressed his gratitude for his writers, saying he got no show without them.
The Writers Guild of America is seeking better pay and benefits for its members.
A strike could potentially disrupt the production of popular TV shows and movies.
The last major writers' strike in 2007-2008 lasted for 100 days and cost the industry an estimated $2.5 billion.
From Hollywood writers to copyright suits, it seems like the only thing Ed Sheeran can't write is a check.
Ed Sheeran has threatened to quit music entirely if he is found guilty of copyright infringement in a lawsuit claiming his song, Thinking Out Loud, copied Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On.
Sheeran's attorneys have been unsuccessful in their attempts to get the case dismissed.
Sheeran has insisted that any similarities between the two songs are purely coincidental and too common to constitute copyright infringement.
During his testimony, Sheeran reportedly sang mashups of Van Morrison's songs for the courtroom.
The federal copyright infringement case was filed in 2018 by Structured Asset Sales, which owns part of the copyrights of Ed Townsend, who co-wrote Let's Get It On.
Sheeran's upcoming Mathematics tour was not addressed in regards to the verdict's impact.
Well, speaking of things that make you want to crawl back into the womb, Nicolas Cage has a new story to share. But first, let's hope Ed Sheeran doesn't have to resort to that kind of escape plan.
Nicolas Cage revealed on The Late Show that his earliest childhood memory is being in his mother's womb.
Cage said he sometimes thinks he can go all the way back to in utero and see faces in the dark.
He speculated that vocal vibrations resonating through to him at that stage may have caused those sensations.
When asked about what happens when we die, Cage said nobody really knows, but he likes to think the spark that animates our bodies continues to go.
Cage most recently starred as Dracula in Universal's Renfield, which has underperformed at the box office.
Despite Renfield's poor performance, Universal has had many successful releases this year, including M3GAN and Cocaine Bear.
And now, from one bizarre story to another, we have news that the Mars Volta has split from Scientology and reunited with a purpose. Maybe they'll write a song about Nicolas Cage's womb experience. The Mars Volta recently played 3 sold-out shows in Los Angeles, marking their first LA show in a decade.
The band's core members, Cedric Bixler-Zavala and Omar Rodriguez-Lopez, played 3-hour sets to nearly 12,000 fans in total.
Bixler-Zavala claims that Scientology nearly destroyed his band and family, alleging that the church began a campaign of harassment and threats against them after his wife accused fellow Scientologist Danny Masterson of sexual and physical assault.
Masterson's criminal case ended in a mistrial in November, and a second trial began in April.
The Mars Volta dissolved in 2013, in part due to Bixler-Zavala's involvement with Scientology, but the band recently reunited and released a new album.
Bixler-Zavala hopes to be a lighthouse in the fog for those still involved with Scientology, and the band's reunion has a new purpose beyond just playing music again.
From the spiritual realm to the action-packed world, it seems like Mars Volta has traded in their e-meters for guns and joined John Wick in his quest for vengeance. And boy, are they killing it at the box office. John Wick, Chapter 4 has become the first movie in the franchise to earn over $400 million at the global box office.
The film stars Keanu Reeves as John Wick, who makes one last bid for his freedom from the high table.
Lionsgate's PR team Elzer & Associates reported that the movie has earned roughly $226 million in overseas earnings from 86 international box offices.
John Wick, Chapter 4's long-term success was evident from its massive $73.8 million domestic opening weekend and $64 million outside the US and Canada.
The movie's success bodes well for upcoming spin-off projects, including The Continental and Ballerina.
Many promotional materials for the film hint at this being the end of John's violent journey in his world of assassins, making it a fitting conclusion to the franchise.